What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who ranking video. Today I'm going to be ranking all of the Doctor Who opening titles. Now I say all of them, I rounded it off to 16. I've got 16 titles on this list. So there are a couple in there that I haven't included. For example, I haven't included the season 18 title sequence for Tom Baker because Peter Davison's title sequence is basically the same. I've also not included, like, you know, I have like the 9th Doctor's titles, and then I have the 10th Doctor's titles when they change the music in that, but I don't have, you know, in between that, where it was kind of a mix between the two. I haven't bothered putting that in there, and there's probably a couple others as well, so we've rounded it off to 16. You'll see which 16 it is on the list. Anyway, I'm going to try and get through this quickly, because I don't know what's going to happen with copyright and stuff, and I don't even really know how I'm going to kind of edit this all together, so I guess you'll know when you see this. But anyway, let's get started. Number 16. The 11th Doctor's second titles. Now these titles, the main issue with them is that they just don't look very good. The CGI is very, very bad. I don't like the, you know, after we have the Doctor Who logo, we have kind of that electricity static sort of noise with the flickering of those kind of lights. I don't like that, and I just think altogether this one just doesn't look very good. The theme itself, though, I do quite like. I think it's a bit more of a hark back to the classic themes, so the actual theme of this one I do quite like. It's just the visuals really don't look great. I do, however, also like how we get to see the Doctor's face again. Matt Smith's face shows up, so that's pretty cool, but apart from that, it's not a great one. Number 15. The 3rd Doctor's second titles. Now this one for me is just kind of like, it's a primitive version of the 4th Doctor's titles, really. Very similar to the 4th Doctor's titles, especially in the way that it ends, you know, after we see the Doctor Who logo. Before that though, I don't like how we have a full body shot of the 3rd Doctor, of Jon Pertwee flying back into the vortex. I think it looks ridiculous. Also, I just don't think it looks quite as good as the 4th Doctor's just all together. I do quite like the time tunnel and stuff, but I think it was done better with the 4th Doctor's the next year, so yeah, it just gets 15th on the list. Number 14. The 8th Doctor titles. Now these ones I actually really used to like. I really like the theme of this one. Once again, like the 11th Doctor's second title sequence, I do really love the theme. It's such an orchestral theme. The first time we see an orchestral theme, which kind of has come more into play with the new series, but definitely different for the classic series. The visuals are decent, but nothing too amazing. It's the first time we really have this whole time tunnel, time vortex thing. It is a bit bland though when you take away the text and all that. It is a fairly bland, boring title sequence. Of course, it was also only used once, but I still do like it. Number 13. The 1st Doctor's titles. Now this one's purely on here because really it was just the first one, yes, so it kind of gets a bit high because of that, but of course it is very basic. For the time, 1963, these looked amazing. I mean, they still look pretty amazing today, and of course the original theme is very, very good. It's a really good theme, although I do prefer other versions. It's where it all started, and it's an amazing theme. But you know, when you look back on it, it comes further down the list just because I think it was built upon a lot more in more recent years, and yeah, I mean, it's still very, very good though. Number 12. The 6th Doctor's second titles. Now this one is a bit weird for me. The visuals are amazing, but let's be honest, they're not really any different from his previous titles. It's the music that's a big difference. A completely different sounding theme, which I don't mind in some ways, but at the same time, it's so different from any other Doctor Who theme. I think it does sound a little bit strange. I'm also not a big fan of the way it ends with kind of the doodle doodle doo 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 doo. I'm not as big of a fan of that as I am compared to how the theme usually ends. So yeah, I mean, it's decent. Number 11. The 7th Doctor's titles. Now this one, once again, is kind of a bit of a wishy-washy one for me. I quite like the theme. I'm going to be honest, the 7th Doctor's theme tune for his titles isn't my favourite theme of all, but I do quite like it. It's also crazy that they went a bit overboard, I think, with the visuals for this title sequence. It looks very, very different and a hell of a lot more, I suppose, just a hell of a lot more CGI than previous. I think it was the first time they used CGI for the theme, for the title sequence, and I do like it. There are a few things like the meteors which don't look great, and the Doctor winking is a bit weird, but yeah, I still do like this one. Number 10. The Fifth Doctor's titles. Now this one would be a lot higher if it wasn't for one that came after it that I think just built upon it. So because of that, I have put this one a little bit lower because, you know, the one after it does just add upon it. So yeah, I actually really like the Fifth Doctor's titles. Yes, they are a bit bland looking when you've just got this black space. Every now and again you get a few lights flying past, but it's the theme mainly. I love I think it's the Peter Howell theme, is it? You know, the theme that they started using in season 18. I love that theme. It's one of my favorite themes of all time. And yeah, although this title sequence is a little bit kind of empty in some places, I do really enjoy it. Number 9. The 12th Doctor's titles. Now this one, once again, I keep saying this, but it's a bit of a wishy-washy thing for me. The visuals, I mean, it looks amazing. It's a very, very well animated and CGI'd title sequence. I like the cogs going around. We kind of don't really understand what that's all about until, I guess until kind of series 9. But I do quite like it. It looks decent. We're not really flying through a time vortex. It's just kind of these weird shapes and the cogs and stuff. The theme, I don't mind. Yes, it is a bit too whiny. I do agree with that. It is a bit too whiny at times, but yeah, I do quite like the 12th Doctor's titles. Number 8. The 3rd Doctor's first titles. This was the first title sequence that we ever saw in colour, and I think it looks really good. They maybe went a little bit overboard with the colour, you know, they're like, oh, we finally have Doctor Who in colour for the first time, so we have a fairly similar effect to what we did in the previous two Doctor's titles, but with a hell of a lot of colour, reds, blues, greens, oranges, just a lot of colour, but I do quite like it. It is a bit over the top, but it fits the 3rd Doctor, and I quite like the look of the titles as well, so yeah, I do get quite excited when I see this one. Number 7. The 2nd Doctor's titles. I really like these titles. It's pretty much the 1st Doctor's titles, but just with a lot more going on, some more interesting, you know, some more interesting shapes and patterns on the screen. Once again, it's also in black and white, but I just think it looks a lot better. There's also the alteration in the theme with kind of more of an echo to it, which I really like. I do prefer that theme quite a bit more to the original one. We also have Patrick Troughton's face showing up as well, which is pretty cool and adds, you know, a nice little thing in there. I don't really like how, of course, with the 1st Doctor's theme, it doesn't really end, it just kind of blurs out into the episode, but yeah, the actual theme itself and the titles look really good. Number 6. The 4th Doctor's titles. This is a title sequence that I actually didn't used to like too much, but now I've actually kind of grown to appreciate a lot more. It's basically very similar to the 3rd Doctor's 2nd title sequence that I said I didn't like too much, however it's just built upon it better. Tom Baker looks really serious, and he's like looking dead into the camera when he shows up on the screen, which I think is creepy, terrifying, but also amazing. The theme, of course, is the same theme that we've really had since Patrick Troughton, and yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting theme. I like the colours, I like the TARDIS going through, and yeah, I just think it's a very nice theme. Number 5. The 13th Doctor's titles. Yeah, probably the best thing to come out of Series 11, to be honest. The title sequence and the theme for the 13th Doctor for Series 11, and I'm presuming for Series 12 onwards, I hope that is something that does stick around for a while. It's the theme. I think the visuals look amazing. It looks really, really good. Fairly simplistic with just the colours in that, but it looks really good. It kind of mimics classic series a little bit more than other ones have recently. You know, we don't have the TARDIS flying through a vortex, and also just the theme itself is a really, really good combination of new and old. So it's really, really good. Number 4. The 9th Doctor's titles. Now these ones, the titles that brought back the series, the first thing we ever saw on screen in 2005 when the show was brought back. I really do like these titles. They have a lot of nostalgia for me in particular, because I really started watching the show with Rose in 2005, and that's when I really got into it. These titles are just good. I love the look of them. I quite like the theme. The logo is decent, however I don't know why they didn't just go straight with the kind of orangey fiery logo at the end. The silver one doesn't look great, but I mean still, this theme, this whole title sequence is very good. Number 3. The 6th Doctor's first titles. This is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the 5th Doctor's titles, how I really love them and I really like the theme. but they were built upon better later, and that's the case here. The Sixth Doctor's first set of titles is basically very similar to the Fifth Doctor's titles. It's got the exact same music and everything, which I love, but there's a bit more going on. The Fifth Doctor, it was a bit empty. However, with the Sixth Doctor, you've got more lights, just more stars coming towards you. There's just more going on. I like the way, I much prefer the way that Colin Baker's face comes up, and yeah, just a really, really good title sequence. Number 2. The 11th Doctor's first titles. Now, I was a little bit skeptical when they said that they were changing the title sequence for Series 5, because I'd been so used to this title sequence from Series 1 through 4 that I was just like, what are they going to do? But when they brought out this new title sequence, I was very happy. I like the TARDIS going through the kind of cloudy time vortex with all the lightning being struck and all that. It gets struck by lightning, the names get struck by lightning, and then they go into the kind of more fiery, cloudy time vortex. I think it's really cool, and I like the theme quite a lot as well. Number 1. The 10th Doctor's titles. Of course, this was what it was going to be. I'm a Russell T Davies fanboy, I love David Tennant, but once again, it might be nostalgia, I don't know what it is, but I love the 10th Doctor's second set of titles. When they made the music more rocky and, you know, the drums in it and everything, it just sounds, I think, so much better than the original version. But then you've also got the logo actually now looking a hell of a lot better. It's not just this kind of metal looking silver thing. It's got the orangey colours to it, the flame look to it. It just looks awesome, but that theme especially, I absolutely love it. Alright, so that's the ranking of all the Doctor Who title sequences, at least the ones that I've counted on this list, these 16. In this video, I've ranked them all. Remember, this is my opinion. I can't stress that enough. This is personally my opinion. I actually don't really hate any of the title sequences. I quite like them all. I like something, even in, you know, the 11th Doctor's one, I do quite like the theme. The visuals not so much, but the theme I do like. So there is something in all of them that I do like, so respect my opinion. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. What are your favorite title sequences? What are your favorite themes? I'd love to know. Please tell me down below. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Go into the description, follow me on Twitter for more stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.